Okay, so today we're gonna talk about my October wrap-up. I have here 7 books because I've actually read 7 books, but these are not all the ones I've read, if that makes any sense, and it was quite heavy. So let's jump into that video because it's not like it's already mid-November and I'm filming my October wrap-up. What's up? I hope you're good. So today we're here for my October wrap up, and yeah, I know I've read 7 books. I don't remember all of them, so I have my CAWPILE sheet here. So if you don't know what CAWPILE is, it's a rating system invented by G over at Book Rose. You just type CAWPILE, CAWPILE, and you will find like the system and how it works and whatever, and it's really helpful, especially because she made like a spreadsheet. Life-saving, I'm telling you. But yeah, so I'm gonna talk about all the books I read in October, and I think I had a pretty good month in October. So let's see the stats, because yes, you can see the stats with the CAWPILE system. With, you cannot see you have like graphs, diagrams, etc, etc. So really interesting. So in October, so I've read 7 books, I told you that. I've read 2,796 pages, which I believe is fair enough. But in September I read 4,645 pages, so it's not as good as September, but 7 books, and I got like, these are not all the books I've read, but 2 of them are, and they're quite chunky, so I'm pretty proud of myself actually. And that's pretty much all I'm gonna say here. So let's jump into the first book. The first book I've read in October is actually a book I got from NetGalley, so Wolf Island. Basically, it is a true story. So it is a research book spread over like 10 years, 20 years, I don't know exactly, I cannot remember, but I know that what was written by the author, the narrator, was spread over like 3, 4, 5 years maybe, but I will say overall 10 because he used the data from before and from after, and he gave some kind of like update after finishing the book, etc. Like, where is everyone, you know, all the people that he talked about his book, where are they? And actually it's really focusing on wolves, specifically on an island north the States, pretty close to Canada, and he's actually studying wolves and how they survive on that very tiny island. And you know, it's kind of a chance for the scientists to actually study wolves in such an environment because it's close, there are not like much interference with the outside world, let's say, and they're studying like the changes with the climate change and, you know, the wolves, how they're coming, there are different theories, etc, etc. I really enjoyed that book. I give it 5 stars, but I love wolves in general, so I don't know if everyone would like this. I would say no, but I really enjoyed how true it felt actually, because like he goes on that island for his master's thesis, PhD, and because it's a mix, whatever, he goes there and he wants to study wolves. But of course it took him time, like several months or almost 2 seasons, to actually see wolves for the first time. And I love how it shows that research are slow. So I really enjoyed it. I definitely recommend it if you are into wolves and if you love like the scientific aspect of wolves and not just like a documentary. Actually, it really felt like a documentary, but it was slower than what you will see in a documentary. You know, if you're watching something on TV or whatever, they're gonna show you all the best moments, and you know, you don't see the moments they were waiting for hours, for days, for weeks before saying something. So yeah, but yeah, overall I really loved it. I feel like I need to wrap this up because I could talk about that book for long, because I really enjoyed it. 5 stars. I enjoyed it. Very slow, felt very true about wolves, and it was like true, it was the research, so yes. Then it was The Positive Shift by Katrin something. The picture will be here. It's also written by someone with a PhD. It's very psychology heavy and focusing on that and your mindset and how sometimes you are responsible for not feeling good, etc, etc. Not trying to drag anyone down, but it's just the way you think might make like a huge difference. Like if you're positive, you're gonna see something more positively. If you're negative, you're not gonna see anything positive positive out of something, you know what I mean? And I gave it 3 stars because it was so interesting at the very beginning, and so like, I don't know, it was shocking at parts because the author was actually coming with research but also tests and analysis on real people. For instance, in one research they put people into groups in 2 different rooms. In one room they're gonna have like the same test on both sides, like a written test or whatever, and on one side people, the main person is gonna be like, okay, good luck with that, it's gonna be hard, and we know that some people don't have the same capabilities or whatever, and on the other side is, okay, let's do it, you can do it, and at the end you're gonna have candies or whatever. They were spread into groups, ethnically exactly the same, ages the same, like you had as many people 50 and above in both rooms, etc, etc. And at the end, the one with the candy at the end and the positivity pretty much all did like high score or whatever, and on the other side, no. And it was exactly the same thing, people with the same background, coming from the same places, etc, etc. It was actually mind-blowing at the very beginning, but then you go further and further in the book and it keeps being like too repetitive for me, so I lost interest after a little while because it was exactly the same thing. And I totally get that some people need to hear the same thing like thousands of times, like in a row, whatever. I don't, or I do, but in a different way. So I feel like it should have been more subtle after, and or maybe coming with cliche answers or answer you expect, you know, but you're like, okay, and then progressively something more like shocking or, you know, unusual or whatever. I would have done it differently, but I'm sorry, I don't have a PhD. I'm not a specialist in that field like psychology, etc. So that's just my feeling as a reader. So yeah, 3 stars, but overall okay. Then I read 2 books by Rachel Tremblay, so Off My Feet and Crush Kitty, so 5 stars and 4 stars. This one is way shorter and it's happening like 30 years before that one, but I highly suggest you to actually read that one before and then after to have some kind of background. It was psychedelic, it was what the heck, it was like unicorn and butterflies, that's how I would describe that book. But the way the character felt, I really felt connected to the main character. So basically, she lives in a world like ours. She prefers to be alone. She works in a coffee shop. She has her routine. She's not a people person. She doesn't want to get attached. She doesn't want to have a lot of friends or a social life, whatever. She likes her life kind of lonely, but without being lonely, if that makes any sense. One day there's going to be a fire in her place, so it's going to destroy everything. She's going to have to move out and find a new place, which she will do actually super quick, but she will see that very fast it wasn't like the best place, whatever, because so much noises at night, like the entire building is waking up and living at night. And one day she's gonna see like an ad, I believe it was in a magazine or in a newspaper, whatever, for sleeping pills. And you know, she's like me, a bit like, I don't feel comfortable trying something like that, but at this point, like, I need something to sleep because I'm not functioning like good enough. So she's gonna order the pills and everything is gonna go like, what the heck is happening? But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I felt like I was tripping the whole time I was reading it. I was feeling, I was stressed, I was laughing, I was crying. I mean, I wasn't crying, but I was like feeling. So I really enjoyed it. And then you have that one that happened 30 years ago, but I feel it was like, or a bit rushed, or a bit like this and that and this and that. Like, I don't know, I really enjoyed the characters, but it was a bit too straightforward or too rushed. I don't know how to explain, but overall I liked it, so read them. Then we have The Eldest by Christopher Paolini. You know that I'm in love with that series. I gave Eragon 5 stars and it is one of my favorite series of all time. I grew up with that series, etc. So this is my first time rereading it and in English. So the first one, as I said, I gave 5 stars. This one I gave 3 stars. Like, it's still one of my favorite series, don't get me wrong, but now as an adult I can see what wasn't well, like 100% well in that series. What I liked in Eragon in the very first book is that sometimes it takes time to get some skill or to work on something or to get something or whatever. You know, like if you're trying to do a split, sometimes it can take you weeks or like years to get that flexibility or whatever. And I really love that in the very first book. Here in the second book, it felt a bit rushed, and it felt rushed not like it was needed in the story or whatever, but like the author wanted it to happen now, because at that point in his life, he felt like he needed a change. Like, I really felt like Eragon in this book, at some part, something happened and he changed, and I feel like it was too rushed because the character wanted that for himself. You know how sometimes authors kind of project themselves in their main characters? I felt like it was the case here, and it bothered me a bit. But overall, I liked it. Like, it was very slow compared to the first one. I'm kind of scared to actually continue with the series, but I'm planning on, like, I really want to get done, like, be done with that series this year, but we'll see about that. I really love that world. Like, I really love the dynamic between the characters and between Eragon and Saphira. So Saphira being the dragon and Eragon being the rider, but also some issues with the way he interacts with female characters was a bit odd. Like, I totally get he was a teenager while writing that, and the character is not like mature enough or whatever, but sometimes it felt like too basic and too, I don't know, it didn't feel natural. That's what I'm trying to say. But overall, I really like it. I feel like everyone knows what Eragon is about, but basically it is a YA fantasy about Eragon, so the main character, who's gonna find one day an egg, a dragon's egg. He doesn't know anything. Like, everyone knows in that village, in that world, that dragons used to be something, and they used to be riders, etc. But it's kind of lost, and it really felt like it happened like thousands of years ago. And he's gonna find that egg, and trouble's gonna start at that point. He's gonna have to act quickly. And yeah, I do like the series, and I really want to continue with the series. So let's hope the third one is better. I mean, it's not that it was bad, but you get me. Like, you get me. Then I've read Ghost Squad for the middle grade monthly book club. I gave it 3 stars, and to be honest, I cannot remember. Oh yeah, can I remember what it was about? So I listened to the audiobook, and if I remember well, this is a story of a girl who lives with her dad. She doesn't have a mom anymore, and she lives in a house surrounded by ghosts of her family. And actually her dad knows about them, so she sees them. Her father doesn't see them, but he knows that they're. And he has a business like having a haunted house and having tours, etc., especially during Halloween. Yes, see, I remember. One day that girl's gonna find like a magic book or whatever, like a grimoire, and she's gonna use that magic with a friend, and apparently she's gonna release something very bad, and she needs to fix it. So I enjoyed the story, but again, I didn't feel connected for some reason. I don't know what happened, but it was cute. I listened to it on script, so it was an audiobook, and I actually enjoyed it. So, but not much. Like, it was okay, nothing special. I don't know why. I can't tell you what bothered me actually. I just like it. It was an overall feeling. If you've been following me on YouTube, watching my vlogs and Instagram stories probably, and Instagram posts, because I posted about that book once with a review, you probably know that the last book I've read that month is actually To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. So this is an adult sci-fi that he wrote. I believe he started that book like 7 or 8 years ago. Just insane. It's a chunker. I bought it from my mom in French, but they had the amazing idea to actually split the book in 2 and not to sell them at the same time. Like, when you check the book in French, it has as many pages as this one, but it's only half of the story. Please explain me why. But yeah, adult sci-fi, as I said, and this is basically the emotional and adventure and whatever journey of Kira. Kira is actually the main character, and you live in a world where hurt is still a thing, but people are living all around the universe, different galaxies. It has some kind of technology that allows it, and you know, they're everywhere. And she's a scientist, and she's on a planet or whatever, and she's there with a crew, and this is actually their last day, but she needs to go on a last mission and to actually check some kind of robot or whatever because something went wrong, whatever. And she goes there with a friend, and I mean with a co-worker, whatever. At that point I think they are friends, because when you live with them for months, I mean, you could hate them, but whatever. And she goes on that mission, and she is like working on that robot or whatever, satellite, I cannot remember what it was. And she's gonna step upon something alien, like she's gonna see an alien construction of some kind, and she's gonna get in contact with something something that's gonna change everything, her life and the course of her life and her goals and the way she thinks and the way she sees things, etc. It's gonna change everything, and it's gonna be the beginning of so many things. And also because after, yes, you have some kind of first contact interaction, first contact story with aliens. And it was really, I loved it. I think I read it in 3 sittings, and it's like 900 pages because I loved it. It was super immersive. I was really into it. I felt what the characters was feeling. I was scared, I was excited, I was happy, I was sad. I wasn't entirely okay with that ending. I'm not gonna say why. Also at the same time, I had like a feeling with the crew that it was like a bit like Heart of Iron by Ashley Parson, a retelling of Anastasia. The crew there was like a family, and I felt it was the case at some point here in the story. But at the same time, the way they were interacting to each other, it didn't feel that, I wouldn't say that human, like the warmth you feeling from having like an interaction with a human being, if that being is not an asshole, of course. But I mean, it felt a bit alien-ish, but also because humans, not all humans are 100% natural, and also because it's such a world, like it's a different world. It's a world where everything goes faster, where everything is at stake, where everything is like different and whatever. And I feel like interactions can be somehow colder, let's say, or less like humanoid, I want to say. You don't say that, humanoid, but in a human way. And that didn't bother me at all, because I mean, I'm not the kind of person who's gonna hug someone all the time, smile to someone all the time, or want to see my friends all the time or whatever. I'm a lone wolf, and sometimes I just forget how to interact with people because I've been alone for such a long time. Like last time when I saw a coworker, like from like distance, because we saw each other in the street, I was like, okay, should I send? Should I say hello? Do I have to look at her when I talk to her, or is it okay? Like I know it's weird, but it just like that didn't bother me. But what bothered me at some point is that I felt like it's weird, but I don't know if I know the main character. Like I know her ups and downs, I know how she felt, I know how she thinks, like I know how she thought, etc. But I don't feel like I know her. I don't feel I was in her mind at some point, being able to say, oh, she's gonna do that, or she's gonna do that, or that's better for her, etc. You know, when you know a character and you know what's best for them or whatever. I don't feel like that happened in this book. But overall, I loved everything else, and also the little arrogant details in it and other things. I want to reread it, so at some point I will reread it, and that's it. Okay, well, so that's it for my October, I was about to say November, October wrap up. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you read any of the books I mentioned, or if you are planning to, or let me know what was your favorite book of October or your least favorite book of October. Did you DNF a book? Like, so many questions, Sasha. Calm down. Calm down. But yeah, well, I hope you're good. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to be a part of the pack. Talk to me in the comment section as usual. And until next time, take care, Wells. Bye.